Hey guys, welcome to this week's Business Boost. Hopefully, you are getting a lot of tips out of these every week. If you haven't been watching so far, that's fine. You can always go back on the team page and start rewatching. They're all on the team page for you to watch. 2 weeks ago, when I led the last call that I led, we talked about personal branding some, how everything you post needs to support your personal brand. There are a lot of people out there selling Plexus, but the thing that makes your audience decide to order from you or join your team is what your brand is. It's how they feel connected to you, how they feel who you are in relationship to what they are and what they want. A little piece, though, that people miss a lot of times is that it's super, super important for your personal brand to align with what it is you're selling. If you want to be successful, you can't separate the two things. You can't separate what you're selling and your personal brand. They have to be cohesive and they have to really complement each other if you want to be successful. Because of what you're posting as far as what you're selling goes is one thing, but what you're posting with your personal posts is another thing. There's not alignment there, then you are going to lose your audience. It's like, let's say you have a cleaning company, but every time you post a picture with your house, it's a disaster. You won't have a lot of people messaging you about your services, right? Because what you're selling is not in alignment with how you're living. Or if you sold makeup, but every picture you post of yourself, you don't have any makeup on, people aren't going to buy your products because they think, well, if she really liked them, then she would be wearing them. Or maybe you're a personal trainer and you post pictures of yourself eating junk food and living an unhealthy lifestyle. You're not going to have a lot of clients because there's a misalignment between what you're selling and how they see you're living. And it's going to come across as really hypocritical, right? And that breaks trust with your audience. The second you start posting about Plexus as what you're selling, your page becomes your storefront. So think of every single post, not just your Plexus post, as supporting one cohesive brand. Otherwise, people will see your Plexus posts and then your other post, and if they're not in alignment, those Plexus posts are going to seem hypocritical. And like I said before, that breaks trust. Hopefully, after our call 2 weeks ago, you went through your page and you wrote down your personal branding. You wrote down who you are, your lifestyle and interest, and how you show up or your tone. And then, like I said, hopefully you went back through your page to make sure everything is in alignment with your personal brand. What we're talking about today goes even further, making sure your brand aligns with what you're selling when you're posting. And I'm going to talk specifically now about non-Plexus posts. So from here on out, when I refer to your posts, I'm talking about your non-Plexus posts. The ones you should be doing 1 to 3 times a day. Again, so your audience feels like they know you, they feel connected to you. These are the posts that support your Plexus posts. They connect you to your audience and they let people feel like they know you. And it's so important that 100% of these posts support your brand and align with what you're selling. Think of it this way. Every time you go to post something, think of it as having a positive or a negative sign. If it supports both your brand and what you're selling, then it has a positive sign. But if it doesn't support your brand or it doesn't support what you're selling, or maybe it's just kind of neutral, it's going to have a negative sign. You want to make sure everything that you post has that positive sign to somehow support your branding or somehow support what you're selling. Part of your brand needs to be showing people how your lifestyle supports what you're selling. We need to be careful that we don't post things that are opposite of what we're selling. And I see this a lot of times. Maybe you post a lot about the reset, about jump-starting your weight loss journey. But then when you post your lifestyle posts, you're not exercising regularly, you're eating foods with artificial sweeteners, maybe you're in the Sonic drive-through line with a Route 44 cherry limeade and some fries. That is not going to align with your post about the reset and jump-starting your weight loss, right? So that's going to come across as really hypocritical when you do your Plexus post when your personal posts are not in alignment with that. Or maybe you're talking about the Restore and how it is so important to detox your liver specifically from heavy metals, but you're posting about maybe using aluminum foil when you cook, which, as we know, increases the amount of heavy metals in your liver. So then your audience is going to say, okay, you're posting on one hand something that's causing a problem, while on the other hand, posting a solution for the problem. And not only is that hypocritical and unethical, but it's just, I mean, your audience is going to see that, right? So we need to make sure that what we're posting is in alignment with what we're selling. Or maybe you're posting about the importance of kids' gut health and how important it is to start your kids off right, healthy on these products to support long-term health. But then you're posting a recipe or something your kids ate that has tons of food dyes in it. Your audience is going to see that misalignment and it's going to break their trust. So then when you post about Plexus stuff, it's going to come across as very disingenuous, very hypocritical, and they're not going to trust you as someone because what you're selling is not in alignment with how you're living. Remember, we aren't just here to sell products. We're here to truly transform people's lives. And that's why it's so important to make sure that your posts are in alignment with that. Now, I'm not saying that we have to be 100% perfect, but I'm saying that if you want to be successful and really make an impact on people, then your personal brand needs to support what you're selling because misalignment equals distrust, and distrust means you lose customers and ambassadors, right? And another thing that's really, really important, and we'll get into this a little more next time, is with every customer, again, we're not just selling a product, we're trying to transform their life, and we need to make sure that they are set up for success. And how do we do that? Through our onboarding calls. We need to go over what their habits are. And when we talk to people about what their habits are, if they know that, they've been seeing us post our habits on social media, it needs to be in alignment with what we're telling them that their habits should be. We should never tell our customers to just take our products. We need to be talking to them about their nutrition, about their exercise routine, about their sleep habits, about how much water they drink. But if they're seeing our posts and they're not in alignment with that, then again, the hypocrisy comes in, right? I had a customer recently who ordered, and we did her onboarding call. We went over all the stuff, what to eat, what not to eat, exercise routine, that kind of thing. Um, she thought she was taking notes. I guess she didn't, but that's okay. About a month or so ago, she messaged me again, super frustrated. So we had another conversation, got back on the phone with her, had another conversation. Okay, this is what we talked about, but what are things that you're still like, talk to me about your day. I had her go through a day with me. The time you wake up, the time you go to bed, what are you eating typically? What does your exercise look like? What are you drinking? That kind of thing. Come to find out, she was having an energy drink every afternoon that she swore was super healthy, but I pulled it up. We went through the ingredients together. Turns out that there were a lot of harmful ingredients that were destroying her gut health, increasing her inflammation, and causing liver congestion. So they were actually doing the opposite of what her products were trying to do, which is why she wasn't really moving forward like she wanted. And then when we talked about her exercise, she was only walking 30 minutes a day, which, as we know, walking is great for mental health, it's great for digestion, it's great for your heart health, but it's not going to burn fat. So she was wondering, I'm walking 30 minutes a day, why am I not burning fat like I want? And I'm like, that's not nearly enough. So we had those conversations. But if my personal posts, were not reflecting or in alignment with the things I was telling her to do, then that would have broken trust with her. So we need to make sure that our customers are set up for success because they don't just listen to what we say, they watch what we do. So you can't tell a customer these aren't magic pills, you need to be exercising every day if we're not posting our exercises. You can't tell a customer you need to eat healthy if we're posting junk food. So we have to make sure again that everything is in alignment as best as we can. And again, try to think every time you go to post, is this a positive for my brand and what I'm selling, or is this a negative for my brand and what I'm selling? So just a little bit deeper dive on how important it is that your personal brand supports what you are actually selling, that we have and that we share personal habits that support what we're selling, because we want to make sure that everything is in alignment so it doesn't come across as hypocritical, so it doesn't come across as unethical or sleazy, that our customers see this isn't just things we're telling them to do, but this is things that we're actually living on our everyday life. So again, next time that I talk with y'all, getting a little bit more into setting your customers up for success and how to do that. So hopefully you guys join me in a couple weeks for that. Your action steps as you leave here. Think about what your habits are. Do they align with what you're selling? Are you exercising regularly? Are you drinking your water every day? Are you eating healthy? So really self-reflect on your own habits and see if they're in alignment with what you're telling your customers they need to do. And then go through your posts and see, are your posts in alignment with what you're selling? Are you promoting the lifestyle that you're, again, telling your customers they need to be living? And if you come across posts that have that little, imaginary negative, it's not supporting your brand or it's not supporting what you're selling, set that to hide. That way, that takes it off your page. Your people won't see it anymore. You want your page to reflect in alignment with what you're selling, in alignment with your personal brand. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this is helpful, and I will see you again in a couple weeks. Bye, guys.